Just a boy caught up in dreams and fantasy. Please see me, reaching out for someone I can see. Take my hand, let's see where we wake up tomorrow. Best laid plans, sometimes it's just a one night stand. I'll be damned, Cupid we all lost stars? Try to light up the dark. Just the same. Oh, yeah. God, give us the reason you just wasted on you. It's still the season, this land is on the run.
life, whether or not you wanted to or whether or not you had to. There's something here that's bigger than that, that's bigger than you.
Which was, he was a private citizen who thrust himself, as anybody would hope they would do. He went toward danger. And when he did, he also thrust himself into the public eye.
And a journalist, when you're in the public eye, you become something else entirely. You become a public figure.
Yesterday in San Francisco, a shot fired.
When that happened to Oliver,
he lost his right to privacy.
I'll make one more try on the gay thing.
And the newspapers argued when it came to Oliver's sexuality,
you don't want to change your mind.
No, it was news at the time.
It is, was, and at all pertinent times has been my judgment that Mr. Sippel's activities in the gay community are highly significant and newsworthy for two important reasons.
hello friends, we're doing something new and fun. A show not just for your ears, but also for your eyes and your skin and your tongues.
That sounds a little weird. What we are doing is a live show where we give the full Radiolab treatment to other senses, not just hearing, but now taste and touch.
We're taking to the stage as part of the Tribeca Film Festival in New York City. One night only, for
We're going to be literally tasting and feeling things that
and with the help of friends, musicians, science writers, movies, we're going to try to blow out
would love to join us, make us your Tuesday day.
Listening
to Radio
WNYC.
Okay, so
I'm Mark Snosser. This is Radiolab, and I'm sitting with reporter Alex.
So my birthday is in August, and a couple summers ago, here in New York, we were in the middle of this very hot, very sticky heat wave.
Okay.
And I had like a nice day, didn't do too much. I think I went to my community garden. I remember spending some time there. There's a park near where I live that I like to go to. So I'd been outside all day. I came home and needed to take a shower. And I was getting out of the shower. It was like cloud of steam, drying off, little like moisturizer on my face, and I went to the bathroom barefoot to go into my bedroom, which is right next door, to get dressed. And I lifted my foot to take a step into the hallway, but right before it touched the floor, I felt these dragging little legs on the bottom of my foot. And I looked down, and there, on its back, was a gigantic roach.
Ah. Wait, what? I thought you were going to say like a serial killer. You mean like a roach, like a cockroach?
An American cockroach, yeah. And this was like a big one.
And it was on its back when it was dying.
Yeah, but with roaches, you just never know. Like, it could look dead, but be just alive enough that it's gonna flip back over and run at my leg. And with my foot hovering over this bug, I'm flooded with revulsion, but also terror. Like, this bug has gotta go now. And so I got back in the shower, scrubbed my foot, wrapped myself in a towel, ran to go find my cat, put her next to the roach, take a few steps back, and I wait. And she's looking at the roach and looking at me, and I'm like, do something. But she just walks away. So then I'm like, pull yourself together, like, buck up. I have to square up against the roach.
The dying or dead roach.
Right.
Okay.
So I put on yellow rubber gloves, and then I get a wad of paper towels, saturated in water, grab toilet bowl cleaner, like the blue gel,
Okay.
squirt a bunch of it into the paper towel, and from like 3 feet away, toss it so that it lands gel down on top of the roach. And then I take a shoe and holding it like as far away from my body as I can get it, I'm just like wah, 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 wah,
Yeah,
wah,
yeah, yeah.
wah, 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 wah,
Yeah.
wah, wah,
Yeah.
wah, 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 wah,
Yeah.
wah, 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 wah,
Okay, yeah.
wah. And then I get a trash bag, scoop it up and stick it in there, and then tie it up super tight.
Wow.
Then it goes into the trash chute. And standing there in rubber gloves next to the trash chute on my birthday, I'm just like, what is wrong with me? Like, this is not the first time that this has happened. Every single time I see a roach, I completely unravel. Like, I just go nuts. And I don't even hate bugs in general. It's just something about this bug. I don't know, like, I just snap. And for some reason, when it happened this time, I was like, I'm a whole adult person. I'm a science reporter. This has to stop.
Huh. Okay, so is what we're doing here like it's like how Alex learned to stop worrying and love the roach?
Not really. I'm not really trying to get cozy with roaches. I just want to figure out how to get to a place where I'm not terrified of them. And obviously, I know this is something that a lot of people are afraid of. And I wanted to figure out, is there something I can do so that the next time I see one, I don't completely lose my mind? So I figured I'd go hang out with people who face basically the worst version of this every single day.
Okay.
Which is how I ended up at the after party.
It's one of the finest expos in New York, probably in the nation.
For the New York City Pest Expo.
And we get top-notch pest control companies and exterminators from all over.
There was like a roach ball?
Yeah, it's like the social part.
That's
like
fun.
There's food, there's drinks, there was a DJ, like there's music. And also...
Oh yeah, I've seen roaches drop off the ceiling.
A ton of people who have been in straight-up nightmare scenarios.
I've knocked on doors and seen them running up and down the doors.
Roaches were in everything from the record player to the TV to the bedhead.
This place was literally, I'm telling, Stephen King levels of roaches.
And yet, no fear.
We had to take care of the situation.
How many insects do you have at home?
Oh, I have about 4,000 or 5,000 bed bugs. Yeah.
This is Lou Sorkin, an entomologist and pest control consultant.
Probably 3 cockroach species, millipede, centipede, spiders, whip scorpion.
And right next to him, he had this huge plastic tub of cockroaches.
This is a Madagascar hissing cockroach.
Oh, yes. The Madagascar ones are huge, right?
Yeah, like some of the biggest roaches in the world. And at one point, Lou just picked one up with his bare hands.
They won't bother you. They're just, sitting. They're tasting. You can see the palps come from the mouth down and touch my skin.
I think I might have nightmares tonight. We'll see. And I was like, how are these people like that?
Hi, nice to meet you.
And could I get like that? Well, let's go. Let's take a stroll. So I found some exterminators who agreed to let me follow them around. One named Lakeisha Fulcher.
Here we have 11 buildings, all 16 stories.
She works at a public housing complex on the Lower East Side.
If I go in your house, you have 300 roaches. I'm happy. Give me 5 days. Let's go.
And also a guy named Cedric Simmons. He has his own company.
So right now we're headed to North Bronx, to a residential unit that has been having some issues with German roaches.
And they just started showing me the ropes.
Flashlight is the most essential piece of the toolkit.
We went into basements and trash rooms.
If I turn the light on, of course, they're scattering. They're going to places like this.
They showed me how to find signs that roaches were living there, even when they're hiding.
So you'll be looking for marks like this, what look like pen tapping.
It'll look like pepper, like stuck pepper on a wall.
It's roach droppings.
And, of course, how to kill them.
There's one right back there.
Oh, yeah.
See it?
Cedric takes me inside this house, and the first thing he does is take a look around the closet with his flashlight, and you can see the roaches perched up on the wall.
Oh, there's two more up there.
And then he goes to the kitchen sink, and he pulls out this jug, and it's this chemical. You know, it's basically industrial strength Raid.
Yeah, it is pretty strong. It has a pretty good knockdown, too. Knockdown meaning how quick it reduces the population.
The kind of stuff you need a license to buy. Like, you can't get this at Home Depot.
So what does this actually do to them?
So it attacks their nervous system, and it disrupts it, and it makes them basically just incapable, and then it succumbs them.
Is it painful for them?
I don't know.
At some point, he pointed out a pregnant roach.
That one back there has its egg sac about to come out.
The one on the wall?
Yeah, in the corner. Can you see
Is
it?
that little, like
That's
bulb thing at the
protruding out.
very
Yep.
end?
Yeah, that's an egg sac.
Oh, man.
And then he started spraying them. And after about 10 minutes, they made their last twitches.
That guy's definitely dead.
How did you feel about that? Like, did you feel bad?
Sort of.
See? The sac is coming out.
I was like, that sucks. For a second.
Yeah.
And then it's like I didn't think about it for the rest of the day.
Oh, well, sorry.
Honestly, what I really felt were these little glimmers of confidence.
Like you weren't afraid?
Well, it's not that I wasn't afraid, but it was like my fear had shrunk just enough that I was starting to feel kind of bold, like maybe I could kill these things too.
So here we have roach activity and rodent activity. Yep.
And then also that's the
Prime and the bait, yeah.
Okay, you saw one. I didn't freak out. Like, Cedric took me to Grand Central Station, and let's go for it. I was seeing fat roaches and acting like it was no big deal. Ooh, big one. Okay. I didn't like it. It's so tall. But it was nothing like before.
So I can step on them? I can spray them.
I don't know. Stepping seems kind of old school. Maybe we do that? Oh!
Wow.
That was fun.
But then, one night, I was just sitting around my apartment. A friend was over. We were watching TV.
Okay.
And I went to the kitchen for a glass of water. And I saw something slightly move in the sink. So I looked inside and I saw antenna. And I was like, nope. Walked straight out of the kitchen, got my friend, told him he needs to come deal with it, and then I stood behind him and squealed while I watched him kill it.
Wait, what happened to all your training?
I don't know. I just couldn't do it.
What?
I mean, first of all, Lakeisha and Cedric, nowhere to be found.
Right.
And second of all, I was seeing this roach in my house, in my sink, where I had just washed blueberries that morning. And I think it triggered some kind of survival instinct, and I just don't think any amount of pest control knowledge was going to override that.
Yeah.
Basically, I was just like, okay, well, that didn't work. Back to square one. You know, I got to start over. And one day I was just Googling around, and I stumbled across this guy.
Hey guys, I'm Chef Joseph Yoon, Edible Insect Ambassador at Brooklyn Bugs, and we're gonna show you how to eat all these bugs.
Yeah. I've seen this YouTube video of him doing like different dishes with bugs.
Yeah, like gourmet dishes.
Yeah.
Bon appetit. The beautiful notes of cricket, umami, and nuttiness. This is perfect.
Oh wait, but you're not gonna.
Well, I just thought if anyone could help me get over that revulsion I feel towards these
The
bugs.
scorpion literally adds so much flavor.
Maybe it's this guy. Like, if I could just eat a roach,
maybe it wouldn't be nasty anymore. It would just be a little snack.
Okay, all right.
And so I sent him an email and I was like, do you ever cook with roaches? And he wrote back to me and was like, absolutely not. I'm already having to do a lot of work to convince people that they should eat other bugs. Roaches have such a bad reputation. Like, roaches don't help my cause, basically.
I love that it's a bridge too far for him.
So I went back and forth with him, being like, you're the only person I can possibly think of who could make me like eating a roach.
Yeah.
And then finally,
You bullied him into doing it.
he, like, I fear I might have. I fear I might have.
Sounds good.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay, so what happened? Let's do it. What's going on?
Right. So me and 8 of our colleagues, Joseph had like very, very generously invited us to his home in Queens.
We're all gonna try something really kind of unusual and weird.
So obviously all of us are really nervous, including Joseph, because he's never actually eaten an American cockroach before. So we started with his usual dishes: crickets, ants, mealworms.
This is the brewed 19 cicadas, and it has a cricket tempura batter on it.
Okay, so this is just the warm-up.
Yeah.
All right.
It's delicious. I love it.
It's good.
And the whole time I'm looking over at the bowl of cockroaches on the counter out of the side of my eye. And by the way, they weren't like random roaches. These were food safe from a lab.
Okay, good to know.
And honestly, Latif, I was kind of in denial that any of this was about to happen.
They're quite frightening. Maybe I'll pull the legs off of them.
Please, first up, dubia roaches.
There might be innards that squirt in your mouth.
Right.
Fried.
I can't really taste anything, which is ideal.
Oh,
It's mental.
Something poked to the inside of my mouth.
It's a leg? You think it's a leg?
Latif, I don't know what it was, but I hated it.
Sounds bad. You're doing really good.
Next, Madagascar hissing cockroaches. And he had blanched these and done nothing else.
Dress a cockroach, but still a cockroach.
He put them on a cutting board and sliced them so we could slurp the insides out like an oyster.
It looks like cottage cheese.
But this one was not that bad.
It has like a really umami smell.
Better. Much better.
It was like eggs.
Huh.
And then finally, my arch nemesis, the American cockroach.
Oh.
So he grabs some kind of cooking oil, throws it in a pan, and adds all these aromatics like garlic, red pepper, and then he throws in the roaches.
You know what? It has kind of a chemi smell to it that the other two didn't have. It's kind of weird. Yeah.
But as he started to cook, everyone's faces, including Joseph's, just started to fall because no matter how long he was like sauteing these freaking roaches with all these aromatics, it just smelled off.
Okay, let's just try the crickets.
But Joseph still grabbed a spoon,
I think someone has to do it.
took a bite,
What does it taste like?
and the look on his face made me feel really guilty.
I mean, I almost spit out what I ate.
Terrestrial's producer, Alan Gafinsky, also tried it.
Nervous.
I mean, doesn't oh yeah, there it is. Well, initially it just kind of, I just was tasting sort of the garlic, like an onion, but that smell that you guys have been smelling it's also a taste.
It tastes like something that you shouldn't eat.
Yeah.
What is the roachy smell like?
Kind of like medicinal, but in like a foul, sour kind of way.
So you did not eat it?
No, like according to a Bugs as Food expert, the American cockroach is literally inedible.
It's a warning sign to me. It's like kind of like, don't eat me. I dare you to eat me. I'll kill you.
Man, this is really not going well.
Yeah, no, the whole thing completely backfired.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take a quick break.
Yeah. Cleanse our palates.
Yeah, but after the break, things are gonna get even messier. We'll be right back.
WNYC's journalism and storytelling is heard by millions of passionate listeners. Sponsors of our programming gain our listeners' attention and their respect. Learn about how your organization can support WNYC and WNYC Studios at sponsorship.wnyc.org.
I'm Latif Nasser. This is Radio Lab, back with reporter Alex Neeson, who has just faced her deep-seated fear of the roach in a number of unspeakable ways.
Yes.
But it backfired, and she only managed to surface her maybe even more deep-seated disgust for them.
Yeah, I didn't want them in my life, in my city, in my state, anywhere. On planet Earth.
Yeah.
I just hate them.
This position is
And
this boom likes to slide.
Sort of amidst all of this, I came across this book called Pests: How Humans Create Animal Villains by science writer.
Can I cuss on this program?
Yes, Bethany Brookshire.
So this squirrel is known as fucking Kevin.
And this book, it was just on the front table at my neighborhood bookstore, but it turned out to be exactly what I needed. Because while the animal Bethany hates is a squirrel,
And he lives in the maple tree in front of my house.
particularly the ones that she named Kevin,
Fucking Kevin.
who were eating all of her tomatoes.
Doesn't even eat it. Just one bite and then leaves it.
So this is like personal.
Yes, I really did contemplate a BB gun.
Wow.
But Kevin is one of the creatures that led me to this deep question of
The question the book was asking.
what is it that makes us hate animals?
Yeah. I could sort of feel it elevating me out of my murder, kill lizard brain to this idea that I could really get behind.
Every time an animal has succeeded really well at living near us, we hate them. If we can't take it in, tame it, and put it in a little doggy sweater, we do not want it.
That word pest takes an animal that is like a living, breathing creature that lives here on this planet with us and turns it into an object.
We're saying that that animal has no value. We are saying that anything we need to do to get rid of that animal is worthwhile.
Which is exactly how I feel about roaches. And she sort of proposes that we should do away with the category of pest altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, that's fascinating. And, the wheels in my head just like start spinning. And I just kept thinking, like, this is how I want to be in the world. What I want my politic to be. Like, I'm going to make a t-shirt that says abolish pests and let people ask me about it. Like, I'm down. And I really want to not hate the roach.
Yes.
But how?
Well, so a lot of the way we respond to animals and the anger we feel and the frustration arises out of our own ignorance.
Sounds like you need to, walk a mile in their little weird, disgusting feet.
Ugh, I know. I think it's time to learn about these revolting, repulsive, nauseating, offensive, terrible animals.
Okay, so let's chat a little bit about the disgust response.
So I called up entomologist Sammy Ramsey, professor at the University of Colorado Boulder.
Okay, I needed you to see what is happening on this tree. Look at this.
Because this guy
Somebody look at this.
really
How cute is this bug?
loves bugs.
This bug, how cute is this bug?
He even has a YouTube channel where he sometimes sings to bugs.
Okay, he likes bugs.
I love it. And so I thought, if anyone can help me abolish the pest in my heart, it would be Sammy.
All right, Alex, listeners, y'all ready for Dr. Sammy's story time?
Yes.
It's Dr. Sammy's story time. All right, y'all. We're going to get some theme music for that at some point. But anyway.
And maybe it's just because Sammy is really charming, but talking to him, I couldn't help but feel my hatred of the roach
They are the coolest.
begin to soften.
Cockroaches are survivors.
I learned that they're at least as old as the dinosaurs as a species.
They can go for ridiculous amounts of time without food. You can cut off a cockroach's head and it can survive for more than a week.
They can run like 3 miles an hour. They're basically the cheetah of the insect world.
Cool.
They are very resistant to nuclear radiation. They can eat paper, just paper.
It's some of these survival techniques, like their tendency to run away from light and their ability to flatten their bodies and squeeze into
Even the tiniest crack or crevice.
that make people distrust them.
Like we step on a cockroach.
And then ever so slowly lift our foot
and it runs away. And we're just like,
How?
What sort of sorcery did you just do?
So I was listening to all this stuff Sammy was telling me.
Do they have 9 lives?
It was almost like I could feel the roach begin to transform into something more than just a pest. So they've sort of evolved to protect themselves in this way from us, the predator, and like other predators, I guess.
Like, these organisms are absolutely incredible, and had they not...
But then he told me that as much as I didn't want cockroaches around,
Cockroaches, they don't want to be here.
they didn't want to be around either.
Huh. What does that mean?
Well, apparently the name
Paraplaneta americana, the American cockroach,
is a misnomer.
They used to live their best lives just running around on a totally different continent.
Okay.
But in order to really tell its story, I need to take you back hundreds of years, when colonists showed up on the west coast of Africa. They corralled a bunch of human beings onto these ships. They stacked them like furniture and gave them no opportunities to behave like humans, to go to the restroom. The cleanliness standards on those ships were pretty low. And there were also some hitchhikers on those ships. See, the American cockroach is actually from Africa. And they climbed aboard those ships that had a bunch of unprotected food in various places, and they found the slats of wood between the ships to be great spaces for them to wedge their bodies. And when they got to the U.S., they set up a whole new population.
So they got here on slave ships.
They didn't really have too much of a choice in the matter.
He tells me this in this conversation, and it just like, it felt like, damn. Okay. Why would you, let's start this whole conversation over and just, like, can we just not? It was just sort of like I can't even just hate a bug without the shadow of slavery. Like, I just wanted to hate this bug and see if I can not hate it, and then it's like, now this.
I mean, can you, like, what was inside of that moment for you?
Well, I talked to a bunch of people about this.
Are you asking me if I feel kinship to these roaches?
Nope, absolutely not. And one of them was author and my friend, Angela Flournoy.
Obviously, the metaphors abound.
Because there's like this thing that I think everyone's going to do, which is be like, oh, great, shared history. You guys survived something together, and so, you know, you should feel some special connection to this insect.
Right.
That just sort of walks itself into the room.
It does.
And I'm like, absolutely not. That story just plays straight, like, directly into, like, all the just the oldest and most boring racist story that's been told about Black people in this country. I mean, roach is an old anti-Black slur, and because of racism, Black people were forced into poor housing conditions, and so sometimes had to live in closer proximity to the roach. And of course, I knew all that, but to see that line of history actually started with a roach on a slave ship is just like...
Wow, that is,
Yeah, it just feels like, it's just like, damn, like...
Yeah.
I told Cedric Simmons, the exterminator.
You know, a lot of people won't treat it with caring hands.
And he spoke to this fear of mine.
I think they'll weaponize it, you know?
Like, should I suppress this? Like, everything winds up in the wrong hands. And it's like...
Oh, those people, they probably already know. You know, I just, like, assume. ChatGPT is probably telling people this information, you know? We live in a dystopia.
But still, just putting this in my story, like, could it deepen this racist idea? Like, does it give legitimacy to the idea that some people have that Black people and roaches go together?
I think that it's legitimate, the feelings of... I've tried since I knew I was going to come and talk to you about cockroaches, which I also, you know, I really don't like them. And I've been thinking about some of the origins of my dislike. And when I was growing up, my mom was really like, we would go over a certain relative's house or whatever, and she would like make us shake everything out on our porch before we came inside the house. And she was very over the top, like vigilant about roaches and assumptions about like cleanliness. And some of that had to do with this idea of like shame and like socioeconomic shame. And this says something about us, like we might not have all the money, etc., but we're fastidious. And one evidence of that is like we don't have roaches.
Yeah. The honest thing is that, like, when I tell a stranger a story on the record about a roach in my home, like, there is something, however small, in my chest that's a little bit like, damn, now they know.
Well, so you have to free yourself from. You have to free yourself in that show. From, you know.
Yeah.
You have to free yourself of the burden of, like, Scott Roach ain't got nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
I think of roaches in the same way that I think of rats.
Again, Bethany Brookshire.
These are animals that are succeeding because our social contract has failed. Right? The roach arrived in America and succeeded because of a massive failure of a social contract that we called enslavement. Right? And they continue to succeed where social contracts fail, where racism thrives, you know, where people end up underserved and kind of forced into histories that leave them in a state of poverty and lack of opportunity, right? And so you could see them not so much as a parallel story, so much as a symbol of the failed social contract that kind of got us here.
My goal here is to regard the roach as a roach. And in so many ways, the roach is not just a roach. The roach is a stand-in for like class and race and like all of these things that are like way more consequential than just like a bug being a bug, you know?
Yeah.
And all of this got me thinking about another roach fact.
I can talk about bugs forever, so.
Sammy told me about, which is that roaches are only dirty because they live in our sewer systems, which are filthy. And just like in New York, the way we dispose of trash, what do we do with it? We stick it out on the street all night. And then the roaches crawl all over it and pick up germs and stuff.
And these roaches, as gross as they can be sometimes, are constant cleaners.
They're actually naturally very clean animals, cleaning their antenna almost the way that cats clean their whiskers.
Making sure that they're getting rid of all the bits of foreign matter that could accumulate bacteria or fungi.
They spend a lot of time trying to clean themselves of filth that they picked up from us. And it made me wonder, if you take away all the different layers of human filth that we've placed on the roach, what's left? What is that animal?
Huh. Yeah, and where, I'm curious, I want to hear more about like how they live on the continent that they are native to.
Yeah, so like they live basically anywhere that there's vegetation. So jungle, forests, and they eat primarily organic matter. Leaves, decomposing trees, logs. They're decomposers, so they also eat like the bodies of dead animals and plants.
It's so funny to think of them like not in a house or a city or something, like that they're actually like forest creatures, you know?
Yeah. And actually, I thought I would end this story by taking you there, to the place they came from. We're deep in a tropical rainforest in the Congo Basin. Huge trees, capocs and mahoganies, tower hundreds of feet overhead. Their canopies filled with monkeys and parrots and eagles. The air is thick and humid. And on the ground, scurrying along the edge of a rotten log, is a female American cockroach. And this one is about to become a mother. At the base of her abdomen is a reddish capsule called a nutheca. It's shaped like a tiny kidney bean. Inside it are 16 eggs. She carries them and incubates them within this protective casing, dragging it along like a wagon. She pauses briefly to nibble at the edge of a damp leaf. She carries on, gliding effortlessly across the jagged debris that covers the forest floor, until she comes across a small hole in the soft, muddy soil. She pauses, looking both ways, making sure the coast is clear, before dropping the Uthika inside. She stares down at her children, or maybe past them. One by one, she oscillates her antennae up towards the sky and back down again, slow and considered, as if reciting a prayer. And then, she scurries away. A month passes. The eggs inside become tiny translucent larvae, each the size of a grain of rice. They've grown long, thin antennae, which are folded forward into a tangle of their 6 stringy legs. The larvae have no lungs, so they breathe through 10 little holes along the sides of their bellies. They're getting hungry and thirsty. And one day, as if responding in perfect time to an invisible conductor, all 16 babies flex the muscles in their abdomens and in unison take a giant, collective breath. Their slender bodies swell with air, growing and growing and growing until the Uthika pops, cutting the last tie to their mother that they've got. And together, they scatter. Some towards the river, some towards a wall of underbrush, some up the thick trunks of 100-year-old trees, out into the forest, to begin their lives.
This episode was reported by Alex Neeson and produced by Jessica Young and Annie McEwen. It was edited by Pat Walters and fact-checked by Sophie Samii. Special thanks to Jessica Ware, Timothy Marzullo, and Alexandra Bell. That's it for us. Thanks for listening.
Hi, I'm Gabby. I'm from the Bay Area, California, and here are the staff credits. Radiolab is hosted by Lulu Miller and Latif Nasser. Soren Wheeler is our executive editor. Sarah Sandbach is our executive director. Our managing editor is Pat Walters. Dylan Keefe is our director of sound design. Our staff includes Jeremy Bloom, W. Harry Fortuna, David Gable, Maria Paz Gutierrez, Sindhu Naina Sambandan, Matt Kielty, Mona Modgaoker, Alex Neeson, Sarah Kari, Natalia Ramirez, Rebecca Rand, Anissa Vitze, Arian Wack, Molly Webster, and Jessica Young, with help from Gabby Santos. Our fact-checkers are Diane Kelly, Emily Krieger, Natalie Middleton, Angeli Mercado, and Sophie Samii.
Hi, I'm Aubrey, calling from Salt Lake City, Utah. Leadership support for Radiolab's science programming is provided by the Simons Foundation and the John Templeton Foundation. Foundational support for Radiolab was provided by the Alfred P. Sloan Foundation.
WNYC's journalism and storytelling is heard by millions of passionate listeners. Sponsors of our programming gain our listeners' attention and their respect. Learn about how your organization can support WNYC and WNYC Studios at sponsorship.wnyc.org.
Reasons. First,
On March 6th, Sergeant Leonard Matlovich disclosed that he was a homosexual.
So, like we said, when Daryl Lemke was writing that article about Oliver, you had this big story about the U.S. Air Force trying to kick this guy, Leonard Matlovich, out because he was gay. And Oliver has heard nothing from the president. The president later said that that had nothing to do with Oliver being gay, but to people at the time,
the suggestion that the president's expression of gratitude to Sipple might have been affected by rumors of Sipple's activities in the gay community.
That was news.
News Secretary Nesson was asked if that was the reason President Ford has not yet personally thanked him.
Second,
the lies, the innuendos,
Sipple's public display of heroism in saving the life of the president of the United States,
the distortions. All gay people are child molesters.
Presented an image
that gay people are like everybody else, that they're heroes.
An image certainly contrary to the stereotype of persons associated with the gay community as weak and unheroic figures.
Which is to say, this is newsworthy, this is worth knowing, and it is something that the whole country wants to know, and the value of that is more than the value of, you know, this individual person's privacy.
Do they make that explicitly? I mean, sort of putting it in terms of the public benefit outweighs the private privacy?
Yeah. So Oliver's case, it dragged on for 9 years. So from 1975 to 1984. But this is, I'm quoting the judgment. The record shows that the publications were not motivated by morbid and sensational prying into appellant's private life, but rather were prompted by legitimate political concerns, i.e., to dispel the false public opinion that gays were timid, weak, and unheroic figures, and to raise the equally important political question whether the President of the United States entertained a discriminatory attitude or bias against a minority group such as homosexuals. So the court tossed Oliver's case out. He lost. He didn't get a dime.
I mean, if you think about it, it is weird that a journalist can just take a person's most private details, and then if it feels relevant, like if they can make that argument, they just put it out there.
It is like if we were to go silent because somebody says don't say that about me, then and the government backs him up.
But if it's meaningful, then the person out of which the meaning is being pulled painfully has nothing to say about it? That's just weird to me.
It's really hard.
I mean, I was thinking about this, like, even sort of on the train coming over here.
Again, Daniel Lutzer.
And it's like, the thing that, like, makes journalism law so complicated, and the things that make an invasion of privacy discussion so difficult, is that, like, what makes something not an invasion of privacy is not that it's okay, it's that it's politically, you know, relevant. So, like, the fact that the private details of his life are politically relevant means that it's not an invasion of privacy. You know, it doesn't mean that it isn't rude or that it doesn't hurt. It means that it's an appropriate story to publish.
But I do think, like, why should the journalists be the only ones to decide what is newsworthy? It's not, like, why is it that then journalists, you just pick up a notepad and a pencil and all of a sudden you have so much more power to say what's sayable than anybody else?
Well, I mean, we have the sort of long tradition of that in the United States. I mean, like, that's, like, what the First Amendment is. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like, yeah, sure. Like, it's like, why do journalists get to decide that? Well, like, who would you rather have decide it? It's not a perfect system, but it's, you know, it kind of works.
So is Oliver just like this?
This is producer Tracy Hunt, who was in on the interview.
Somebody whose life is basically kind of sacrificed to the altar of the First Amendment in this, like, sad way?
Yes. Yeah.
It
feels like he was sacrificed from all sides, actually.
有些是后来的方法，怎么好像慢了？第一章就没有那么，当然我知道原因，可能因为这个要画人工建物，线条要对整就会慢哦。那第一章不用，第一章就乱画，应该说第一章就是很自由的，动作也不难，然后再来画到第三章更慢了，那我就这个时候我就真的非常非常认真看待线稿，因为我希望把《地狱神童》那个电玩用线稿画成一个短篇故事，即使怎么这样乱七八糟结束都没关系，我想完成个什么。我也知道我没那个命画他的彩稿，因为工作有很多嘛，有空
空在那边画这个画，大概不如赶快草稿多画2笔那种感觉了。所以这个我就决定只用线画，然后一路画，心得就越来越多，所以奠定我现在觉得线稿是个好东西，也是从这个时候转弯回来，不然我抛弃线稿抛弃了很多年。当然这张大家很喜欢，理由不知道是线稿用的好，还是题材画的好就是反正剧情很简单就是精灵在城镇，然后可能酒馆喝酒然后呢买武器。有玩过《地狱神童》就知道它可以丢油瓶然后可以丢那个锤子我没有本事玩到能丢油瓶有模拟器我还是没怎么玩然后出去要打人他对手就是那些哥布林狼人那些然后我不知道怎么掰了，我不晓得剧情要怎么掰，剧情该怎么演，后面要怎么演，要不要遇到剑，因为它里面有很多职业嘛，要不要遇到剑士，要不要遇到矮人，要不要遇到谁，要不要让他们相遇结盟再打，然后过一关，我就算不行，这样我画不完，快点立刻让它结束，来立刻让它被打爆吧，不然画不完嘛然后就当天把它打爆。这有录一个录一个绘图影片这个有录影片我3、4个这个线稿都有录影片，同学们应该有拿过对不对？上课有拿过的影片嘛然后被打爆之后怎么办呢被绑了这张被 FB 警告了FB 就说FB 有一个通知来，就是性剥削，就说我的图涉嫌性剥削，我有点害怕，这样不要封我吧好，那我就改过自新这一类我就少画吧，要画到推特画被抓了嘛，对不对？被打爆就抓了，对不对？这两个线稿都有录影片画的时间大概2、3小时画完，然后呢再来就是他被抓了嘛接下来呢就换角色，因为它里面我有一个我还蛮喜欢的一个盗贼到这边，然后盗贼呢听到说，而且我还帮他加超多装备的原本的设定没有那么复杂，这个时期还有一点呈现的方式还不够好我真正比较好的时候是后面了然后出发这个时候呢哥布林但哥布林被我画得太胖了，有点像半兽人他们正在举杯狂欢，然后要把精灵给煮了你们以为他们要对精灵怎样坏他们只是饿了然后呢我就让糟糕跳图了不应该是他出现下一张是什么？跳到哪了？有些车图糟糕总之呢，我让那个盗贼来，盗贼呢就在森林的树林上面，然后射箭准备要救精灵好，但因为我画的像男的吧，我在猜是不是这是不是有点伤然后再来呢，就是哥布林他们呢反击，这也在那边练线稿，真的练得很爽，这样那个反击就练得超爽的。然后呢，反击完呢，再来呢就是盗贼被打爆。本来想画骆驼体但是还是刹了车换盗贼爆了再来怎么办？再来就没有再来了那一篇线稿连载算连载吧就停在这，没有再继续了后面怎么演？因为我想不出来认真想可以啦但是你就代表你要播一段时间去完成它。我已经没梗所以我想说就是一张一张练一下没梗了所以拖更那其实在那之前更早之前我有练一下别种类型的线稿，更早之前那时候不是很成熟有过这个时期的线稿，这个比较粗糙其实到这个时候我已经相信说手绘电绘可以画出好线稿，这个时候我就大概相信了。这个我本来也是想画一个系列我有很多东西都是坑比不上老高那么多了，但我还是有一些坑然后我想要画一个妹子听音乐然后这同一个人有看到吗？戴耳机吗？同一个人然后早上醒来他注意内衣不注意他的睡衣他是个 国高中那个年纪的学生，不要问他身材怎么可以这样长，国高中现在这样的很多，对不对？看动漫作品看闹钟还要拿那种最传统的，现在谁拿这种闹钟？现在是手机就看一下就醒了，大家故意的然后醒来，我想要画的剧情连贯是这样：醒来，刷牙、洗脸、穿衣服，穿鞋子上学，就这样子用线稿去串，但是又断了到这边就断了这是在那个更之前时期画，也是有心要练线稿，好，但是没有贯彻下去直到那个刚刚那个地狱神的那个才开始然后下面我们直接跳看，这个就是我画我自己的系列画那个我的那个九指饕餮那些，用后来的画线稿方式画，我就觉得好像练得可以了我线稿练回来了。这个时期我连彩稿都变了。我有没有琢磨在练彩稿？当然有啊，我从以前到现在无时无刻都会练彩稿，所有跟彩稿有关的，我连那个娃娃上妆的书我都买我是真的都有在锻炼，都有在学习，可是会卡着，卡的点在哪，我就说不清楚，我自己都不知道。不管我做多少笔记，我的美感就是没变，我的美感就好像脸就是不好看，人就不好看，画面就不好看，就是有问题，我一直不知道问题在哪。直到我线稿练回一个程度之后，我发现我连彩稿都变，这个时候我才赫然的发现我被老天打脸可能老 CG 之神在上面看这样，看不起线稿是吧？好，我让你低潮好几年，感觉上好像中了什么诅咒就被啪啪啪被打脸好几年，直到我把线稿练起来，我发现我连彩稿美感都变。如果有一路看我的图，你们会发现那1-2年我彩稿变了真的靠线稿改造因为它会影响你的美感，影响你对细节的辨识能力，进一步让你画彩稿你都注意到这些东西。所以同学们，如果你们有人觉得我上色细节不够，推荐你试一下线稿。那线稿当然要有一系列的练法好，那中间有些过场的我们